Not only cooks do we have in the kitchen, but you brought us some new friends to meet.
Yeah, I met my friend John Messina from Joseph D'Onofrio's workshop. He had an acting class.
Okay.
And I never knew there was a bigger Rocky fan than me.
No kidding.
I mean, he looks the part. I look like a meatball.
So, Mr. Messina, where are you from that you're such a Rocky fan? Are you...
I'm from Long Island, New York.
Okay, no kidding. So you made the trip all the way down here?
I did.
Fantastic. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's going on? So what are you working on? Tell us about your project.
So we're working on a 3-part documentary series called Fight Story. And basically it highlights individuals that have gone through some really difficult times in their life, but they've overcome those difficulties because of their inspiration they gathered from the Rocky films themselves.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah.
And, I was working on a film set once. This is just a quick little story, but how cool Sylvester Stallone can be, even, at this day. So they were working on the latest Creed, and I was working on a small indie film. And the little boy in our story was the little boy in the Rocky movie.
Oh, wow.
So you see him for like a split second, unfortunately.
No kidding.
So I'm trying to remember. He was an Irish fighter, right? In the last one, I'm trying. If it was Creed or Creed 2, but
Creed 1, yeah, he fights a guy from
Europe or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and there's a brief flip. But what I'm saying is that when we were speaking to the mother on set, that the little boy was on set all day and he's sitting there, and when he was done, Sly brought everybody out to give these kids a round of applause and just treat them. You can give them a taste of what the whole experience was like.
Absolutely.
You really made it great for them, and I just sound like a great guy.
Yeah,
So
I'm not surprised by that.
yeah,
Everything that I've ever heard about him is positive, and he seems like one of those real,
I mean, come on.
down-to-earth guys.
Philly. He's from Philly.
the city of brotherly love, right? So aside from the inspiration that the people that are in the film are getting from the Rocky films, what did you learn? What was the research? Putting this all together based on Rocky?
So for me, I had some tough things happen in my own life that, believe it or not, this is something I believe that's been cultivating in my mind probably for 20 years. I'm not kidding when I say that. But having some tough things happen to me within the last 5 years, I think it kind of spurred the idea to really take this to the next step and take that leap of faith and really make this dream a reality. And we're coming very close to finishing up part 1.
Wow.
And which we're probably going to be airing that on Amazon Prime, hopefully by the end of August, early September, somewhere around there.
Oh, fantastic.
And it's been a wild ride, and I've met some unbelievable people. One of the people's actually sitting next to me. His name is Shawn McFadden. He's one of the stars of Fight Story Part 1, and he's got an unbelievably inspirational story. Shawn, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
Shawn, nice to meet you. Now,
Nice to meet you, sir.
how did you two meet? How did you two get together?
On Facebook, John was having he put out what was it? An ad to see who would be interested in doing this, and I sent him an email, and he got back to me, and we had a Zoom meeting, and we talked for about an hour and a half, and the rest is history.
That's great. So if you would tell us a little bit about your story. Tell us a little bit about.
Well, I was born in Reading, and then I lived.
Don't give too much away, Shawn.
No. No spoiler alert.
But I'm from the Reading, Philadelphia area.
Okay.
And I'm also still an active fighter. And if it wasn't for Sylvester Stallone and the Rocky movies, I wouldn't be doing as good as I am today.
Oh, terrific.
Amazing.
Okay. That's nice to hear. What was, what was any key moments in the movie or the film that you always go to as far as
the original Rocky, when everybody has turned their back on him and the only person that believes in him is himself.
Yes.
And the mental toughness that it takes to accomplish and jump over all that, and to continue and persevere.
Right.
That's what I look to, and that's what I've tried to do in my own life.
That's fantastic.
So, Shawn.
It's a great lesson to get from that, yeah.
Yes, sir.
How many fights did you have?
So I've had 24 fights.
Nice.
Yep.
Any knockouts?
Yes, I did.
All right, stay over there. I'm a good guy, I promise. How long has this story, you wanting to come out and write this fight story, how long was it brewing inside you before you actually took the leap of faith? And what was it that made you take that leap of faith to actually put this in motion?
That's a great question. So I lost my dad about 4.5 years ago, 5 years ago. And he was my biggest inspiration, my biggest hero. And it was devastating when I lost him. And then about 6 months to a year after losing my dad, I wound up losing my mom as well. They were the same age, 66 years old. And they both died from cancer. And I kind of felt like I was lost for a little while. I lost myself, I lost my way, and I probably went into a depression, and I was just having a really hard time with life overall. And but rewind back to my dad, 48 hours before his passing, he asked me to do him one favor. And the one favor was, you have to go around the Rocky steps for me.
Oh, wow.
And that was something we always planned on doing together. But unfortunately, we never had that opportunity. His life was cut short.
So your dad was a Rocky fanatic too?
My dad was a huge Rocky fan. My mom was a huge Rocky fan.
Nice.
My whole household really was a Rocky house.
Ditto.
Yeah. And so I made him that promise 2 days before he passed, and I wound up losing him, and then my mom, all within a year span. And I lost my way, and I probably walked around that way for a good six months to a year. And one day I woke up and I just felt a complete shift in my mind, in everything. And I remembered.
Any of the Rocky movies that you just got done watching that helped you?
You know what?
I
I didn't. And that's what I found to be most weird, because it wasn't like it was like fresh in my mind or anything. I literally just woke up and I remembered it, like getting hit with like an uppercut, that I have to go fulfill this promise to my dad.
Nice.
And
not to cut you
Yeah,
off,
go ahead.
but as you're speaking, I'm feeling it's not about how hard you can hit, but it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Yeah, that's a good point.
100%.
So continue. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. So
He
I
ought to
woke
be
up.
sorry.
Maybe we could get Shawn over and slug you.
Yeah, Shawn, can you take
See how
care of
that
this
works
guy?
out. Let's see.
I'm a good cook. I'm a good cook. I'll cook you something. Please don't hurt me.
Now, what's your background in film work and writing and all that? Have you done any other projects before this one? Is it-
I've written some other screenplays. I'm a writer. I've been an actor in a bunch of different independent films. I've done some extra work and things like that. It's not an easy industry to break into, obviously. Otherwise, everybody would be doing it.
Right.
But I honestly, wholeheartedly believe that fight story it's a different animal, because it's coming from the heart. And everybody that's involved in it, they're doing it from the goodness of their heart. Nobody's getting paid. Nobody's in it for the money. Nobody's in it to become famous. And that includes myself. So we're doing this to help people. That's the end game.
That's awesome.
And
That's
I
really
truly
awesome.
believe it's coming at the perfect time. You know, we're living through a difficult time.
yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's a whole lot of
unprecedented.
new things,
Yeah.
as far as mental, health is concerned. They had to
Absolutely.
come out of last year, so this is, you're right. It's a good time.
What made you take that leap of faith to say, I'm going to write this, I'm going to start this, this is what I want to do?
So you ready for this? This is a good one. So getting back to my dad's promise, I wake up that morning and I get in my car and I know right away what I have to do. I wound up driving from New York to Philly. I got to Philadelphia at about 11 o'clock at night, and I pull up to the front of the Rocky Steps, and it's like a library. Nobody's there. It's silent, and it's just me and the steps. And I begin to make this emotional journey to the top, and I make it all the way up to the top, all 72 steps. And I sit there and I break down crying, naturally, just recalling everything that I went through. And while that's happening, I get hit like a ton of bricks over the head, almost as if it's like I got hit by Shawn's right hook. I get hit with the idea, sitting at the top of the Rocky steps, you know, late at night, in the middle of February, by the way, it was 20 degrees out, to write a story, write a series called Fight Story, about people kind of like myself that went through some difficult times, but made it through because of their inspiration from these great movies. And that's how it all unfolded for me. And once that happened, I knew this is where I belong, and this is what I have to pursue.
That's terrific.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great title. Yeah.
Thank you.
I seen some of your trailers for it, and it's really moving, and it's very inspiring. I mean, I seen a guy walk with a cane. I can't wait to hear his story. Just a quick story. You know, Balboa. I seen the movie Balboa so many times. Okay.
It's not all unicorns and rainbows.
So, speaking of that part, a few years ago I had a 900-pound machine fall on me. Almost killed me. I dislocated my hip, fractured my femur, fractured the inside of my knee, fractured my shoulder, multiple fractures in my shoulder blade, bruised my ribs and my lungs. Now, I've seen this movie 100 times, so I ain't got nothing to do. What am I going to do? I'm going to watch some movies.
Yeah.
Balboa's on, and it's the part with his son. He says it's not about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That just hit me. Like it never hit, like he said, you're getting hit by this guy. Because the doctor said you're not going to be able to play roller hockey anymore. You might not be able to ride a bike like you used to anymore.
Right.
So I was just like, what? And I had a little trouble with my father in the beginning of that, and pretty much I was left all alone, sitting on a sofa, watching Rocky. And that just spoke volumes to me. Like 2 months later, I was back to work. 4 months later, I was playing roller hockey, and I'm still riding bikes. I had to give up the roller hockey because it's late at night. Who's got time for that? I'm working, you know? But it speaks to you.
Yeah.
And I understand where you come from, where it just opens up. And his movies are just filled with awesome quotes.
Yeah.
And what's really great is that you turned it in. And now listening to you, and everybody that's part of it, it's not doing it for the money, not doing it for the fame, but to help people, which is amazing. I love that, guys. What do you think?
I was just saying to John a little earlier, you know, we're from the area, the Philadelphia area, and John's from Long Island, New York, and we watched that movie maybe a little bit different than other people. You know, sometimes we watch the movie. I mean, I've seen Rocky. That's the kind of movie that if it's on cable, you're flicking through the channels, you have to stop. Doesn't matter where it's at in the movie. You might have seen it 100 times, but you got to stop just
Every
to watch
time.
the movie every time. But you might not take the message from it because you're from the area and you've seen all these landmarks, and that's what we look for sometimes is these landmarks. And I've been, you know, I was just saying that, you know, I've been to the art museum, who knows how many times, but I've never been up the steps.
I was going to say, one of these years you're going to make it all the way up.
Round 14, man. You know, the message is just amazing, and you gotta, you know.
Well,
different people take that message, that movie different, depending on where they're at or what's going on in their life.
Kind of funny, and I got to imagine that, you know, you can take inspiration on just the development of the film itself. The way Sly had to walk around with that script. He wasn't letting anybody else act in it. It had to be him.
Oh, yeah.
He fought for that. And
$5
good for him.
left, right? Didn't he sell his dog? He sold his dog.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I actually one of the first screenplays I wrote was Stallone's bio, and if I ever have the pleasure of really sitting down with him, I'd love to show him that because the way it's written, it's never been done in any type of movie ever, and I think it would be something he would truly and wholeheartedly appreciate. His story, in my opinion, is even more inspiring than any Rocky movie that was ever made.
That's true.
As crazy as that sounds.
No, it's
his real life story.
Right.
He's from Northeast Philadelphia, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a Philly guy. But see, that's the thing that John was saying. Like, the Philly guys could relate to it, especially when you grow up in an inner city and you're looking at this guy. He don't have two nickels to rub together. But you know what? He believed in himself, and all he wanted was a shot.
Yeah.
That's all he got out. Like what did Mick say? Heart and fire.
That's the problem with my kids. I didn't give them enough incentive. I should have sent them out on their own when they were 4.
Now, John, you're also a high school teacher.
I am.
So,
20 years.
I mean, you got a lot to give to these kids too. So this is something you do every day is inspire
Absolutely.
kids. This is your job to inspire kids to learn. So you're just taking that a step further, inspiring.
Yep.
Other
Yep.
people just all over the place now.
That's the goal.
That's great.
That's the goal.
That's amazing. It is.
Yeah.
And Shawn, you're sitting over there. You're just a bodyguard.
He's stretching out. He's getting ready for you.
Hey, we saw a fight with sticks out in the parking lot not too long ago. So
Were you a part of that?
You might be, yeah.
He's like, he don't need sticks.
We might.
These
No,
are
I was going to
sticks.
say we might need to call you up though, to see what's going on out there.
Straight punches right down the pipe.
5.
It's a unanimous decision.
5 gets a lot of bad.
Let's talk 5 for a sec.
I love 5.
I actually love 5 as well. It gets a lot of bad press,
Yep.
but there is messaging in that film, in my opinion, that's just as powerful as all the other ones.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, when you saw them when they first came, you were like dying for the next one to come out. So you loved everything that you were.
And I was at the
Getting
age where I could cut school and go down the Italian market and watch them run down the
Oh yeah. That's true.
down 9th Street.
Yeah, I'm thinking you're saying you're arriving to the steps late, and I'm thinking of Rocky 3 when he's out there on his motorcycle throwing the helmet at the statue.
Shawn, real quick, favorite
You guys
fighter.
are going to love.
Oh, that's a good question.
Smoking Joe Frazier.
Okay.
Oh, Philly.
Yeah, man. Little Miller Lite commercial. Anybody remember that?
And Tommy Morrison is my second favorite.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Okay,
Very
how
nice.
about that? That's awesome. Well,
You're
I
next,
thought
Joe. You're next.
we're all about hard rock, heavy metal, 70s, 80s, etc. So let's
And
do
if it
something
kicks
from,
ass-
We play it.
yeah.
I love these guys.
He didn't rehearse his line.
I love these guys.
Don't hire him for your film.
PhillyRockRadio.com.
Getting Shawn all worked up talking about kicking ass. Take it
Here's
easy, brother.
Thin Lizzy with their tune Rocky right now.
Forget about it, eh? It's a Frankie Meatball production.